Hello, Dr. Chiwei Tan. I'm Kenneth Lemel, and this is StudyBuddy, a personal academic assistant built as a service. This project was developed for the SC4052 Cloud Computing under Topic 2 Personal Assistant as a Service. The main idea behind StudyBuddy is simple. Students already use many tools to study, but those tools are often disconnected. StudyBuddy brings planning, materials, coaching, and focus support into one workspace. I'll first give a short summary of the problem, approach, and key features, then I'll move into a live demo of the app itself. The problem I focus on is that students often revise across too many separate tools. Their materials may be in notes, files, and course portals, their planning may happen somewhere else, self-checking and focus tools are usually separate again, and general chat tools can answer questions, but they usually do not know the student's real study context. So the issue is not just a lack of tools, the issue is that the workflow is fragmented. StudyBuddy responds to that by combining four things into one flow: importing and organizing materials, building a study plan from readiness and deadlines, coaching the user using their own study context, and supporting focus revision through cram mode and Spotify. That is also why I chose to end this presentation with a live demo, because the value of this project is easiest to see as a complete flow rather than isolated features. This project fits topic 2, personal assistant as a service, because the assistant is broken into clear backend services that the front end calls through REST endpoints. For example, auth service handles accounts and sessions, study strategy service handles planning, readiness, and coaching, Material Analyzer extracts topics from uploaded content, and Spotify service handles the external music integration. So instead of building one large monolithic assistant, the system is structured as separate services with clear roles. That service based on design is what makes the project fit the topic well. The workflow starts with turning scattered study content into a focused revision workspace. On the materials side, users can upload or paste content and keep it grouped under the relevant academic item, such as an exam, assignment, or quiz. On the overview side, the app brings the current focus, readiness, target, study plan, and upcoming work into one place. So rather than checking several tools to understand what to do next, the user can immediately see both what they are studying and what still needs work. This is important because StudyBuddy is not only storing materials, it is trying to connect those materials to planning and action. Once the study context is set up, the next step is guided revision. The study room is coaching space. It supports multiple tabs so the user can keep different study threads separate. It also includes quick plan controls for time-bound revision and a topic readiness panel to show what still needs attention. Most importantly, the coach is grounded in the selected academic context rather than acting like a generic chatbot. That keeps the interaction closer to the user's own material and current focus. In practice, this means the user can move from asking a question to checking understanding to generating a short study plan, all within the same workspace. The next feature is cram mode, which is designed for more urgent revision. Cram mode brings together a countdown timer, a rescue plan based on time left and priority, ambient audio controls such as white noise, brown noise, and rain, and Spotify playback controls in one screen. This part of the project also demonstrates external API use in a clear and practical way. Spotify is not added just as the decoration. It is integrated into a focused revision environment where the user may want a more structured study session using the music they have chosen. So while the earlier features focus on planning and coaching, cram mode focuses on execution under time pressure. Behind the interface, the app uses group backend routes for authentication, study features, assistant features, and Spotify integration. Per user study state is stored in account-specific JSON files, which support separation of user data in the prototype. One current limitation is that Spotify token storage is still shared rather than fully isolated per user, and that is acknowledged in the report as an area for improvement. Even though the prototype currently runs locally, the overall service boundaries already support a later move to cloud hosting, so the backend design is meant to reflect a service-oriented structure and not just a one-off local app. To further summarize, StudyBuddy is designed as a service-based academic assistant that brings materials, planning, coaching, and focused revision into one single workflow. The slides show the main idea, but the best way to understand a project is to see that workflow directly. So in the live demo, I'll show four main things. First, logging in and setting the current study context. Second, adding or reviewing materials for an academic item. Third, using the study room to plan, ask questions, and self-check. And fourth, switching into cram mode for a focused revision session. That demo follows the same story as the slides, from setup to planning to coaching to focused revision. So let's head over to the demo itself. Welcome to the live demo section of StudyBuddy. We are now at the landing page or the login page for the app itself. But before we actually enter the app, we have to register for an account. During registration, you need to enter your email, username, and password. And as you can see, there's an eye icon here to see whether you entered the right password or not. So here, let me put down my email, a username I prefer, and a simple password. Let us check whether these passwords are correct. Once they are right, you can press register so that your account can actually enter. All right, now we're in the overview page. In this overview page, you can see many different elements. There's the current focus, which will be set as soon as you have an exams and assignments or quiz set. And then there is a plan and topics and an upcoming element up here. For plan, will be planned out later in study room. For topics, it will be in the materials room. And upcoming, you can assign any kind of exam or assignment quiz that you have currently. For this demo, let us say we have an SC4021 final exam coming soon. Then you write down your subject. This will help out for the materials and study room connection later on, so that the coach will know what is your current focus. And then make sure your exam type is the exam. And let's say the due date is within 2 weeks. And when you press add item, this will be immediately your current focus. As it is a new thing, you currently are not ready at all, so 0 out of 100, and the target is not set at all, which you can immediately change here. So let's say you're a student who wants to get at least an 85. You can save the target, and that'll be your new target score. And then this will count down from today until the day of the exam. And for the study next, this will only appear once you apply or you upload all the materials that you have for this final exam. Let us say you have more assignments that come within the week. So let's say I have an SC4052 assignment due in 1 week. We can also add this. This won't immediately change the focus, but if you want to change the focus, you must click on the Set as Focus button. As you can see here, it changes up there, and the target score obviously is different as well. So let's go back for this demo. Let's go back to SC4021 final exam. Let's add on more projects. Let's say SC4001 group project, which is an assignment, SC4001. Make sure you add the date as well. So let's say a week from now. And now I just realized, oh, I put in the wrong tag. It is not an exam. It is a group project, which means it is an assignment. So now we can edit this. We can edit the title, the subject, and even the subject type. So let's say it is actually an assignment, and you can even change the due date if needed. So now it is saved, and now the SC4001 group project is an assignment type. All right, let us now go into the materials page. In the materials page, this will allow students to upload their documents that are related to the exam, assignment, or quiz. So let us choose some files. For example, lecture 1. You are not required to rename the file, but this is for the own user's benefit if they want it to look nicer. So once you save the material, this will allow the LLM applied in this app to process the data within the lecture to grab all the topics relevant to this data, to this final exam, which will help in the study room coaching later on. So now let's wait. Alright, after a minute, it will be finished uploading. And you can see here a folder which classifies it as the SC4021 final exam materials. So once you open it, you can see the data of Lecture 1 Big Data 5Vs. And then these are the topics that they have taken from the lecture itself. You can also edit the lecture name. Let's say you didn't capitalize the V. You can edit it such that it is. And you can save the changes and it will appear as such within the folder. You can upload more than one file. You can upload many files. So in this demo, let's apply at least three files so that we can show you how the coach works later on. I will skip ahead after this section so that all the three lectures have been uploaded. Alright, now the three documents have been uploaded. You may be asking, what if I have other subjects? That's alright. You can click on the other exam assignment or quiz related to the lecture that you want to upload. Let's say you have SC4052 assignment lecture note that you would like to upload. I will pick a random lecture here to upload and rename it so that it looks nicer. Once it's been uploaded, you can see that there will be a new folder that is named SC4052 Assignment Materials. You can open these two to show all their contents. Okay, let us now go into Study Room, which is the main attraction of this app. Within the Study Room, you can see that you can have many chats. So let's say you want to have a chat focused on another quiz or a chat focused on the SC4021 final exam. Let's take chat 2 for example. We can rename this to SC4021 focus. All right. So let's say you want to know, what should I study tonight? What should I study tonight? The LLM will start thinking about the materials you have for this specific focus itself. And you can see down here the lesson and topic readiness, Lecture 1, Lecture 2, and Lecture 3A. After some studying, you would see that it would increase in score, for example, 52, 52, and 53. And from there, they will adjust using how many topics they have. For example, here, 5 topics, or here, 6 topics, and another 6 topics. They will adjust using the scores they have within the code and see which one is your current weakest subject or current weakest lecture. Right now, it says the focus on Lecture 3A, Memory Hierarchy first. And it will tell you all the lecture topics, and it will tell you the priority order that you should study it in. And then it will tell you all the outside resources that are related to this topic itself that are non-NTU so that you can further expand your knowledge. And then here it says quiz options. Say quiz me on the entire lecture, quiz me on number 1, give me an MCQ lecture 2, or give me a short form quiz on topic name. So you are not constrained to just study on lecture 3A, even though they advise you to study on lecture 3A. So if you want to study on lecture 2, it will give you a quiz based on lecture 2. But for demo purposes, let's just say quiz me on the entire lecture 3A. It will start creating a quiz option between MCQ or short form answer, and then it will send it to you for you to answer properly. All right, here it gives you the MCQ or this question type, which is MCQ, and then it tells you from what lecture it comes from and what topic it is. All right, so let's say the answer here is A. So let's answer A. And then it will immediately update your score into the Lecture 3A memory hierarchy. Of course, it takes many questions before the scores will update a lot. So here, let's give it another go. Another question. Then here we have short answer. So they will give you MCQ or short answer based on a randomized amount. They don't have a biased amount, it's a 50-50. So you may get a short answer or a MCQ question depending on the LLM. So let's say the question here, explain memory hierarchy layers and their roles using this material detail. This is taken from the lecture itself, understanding the trade-offs between speed and storage capacity in each layer. All right, let's say I have typed up an answer like this. And once you answer, it will think about whether it's relevant to the answer or not. And if it's very relevant to what they know it is to be, they'll give you a high score. And as you can see, it has updated from 53 to 54. Now, this will allow the student to continuously ask and ask the coach over and over new questions such that it will reach a target score that they want, which is 85. As you can see here now, it has already become 40. And as you can see in the top right here, 2 remembered. What this means is that it remembers the question that they have asked, meaning they will not continuously keep asking you about the same question, such that it will always give you a unique question until the material is finished. Once the material is finished, they will have nothing else to give and they will continuously ask the same question after that. So let's say you want this quiz to stop. You can press N. And then it will confirm that they have updated the readiness view with the answers you have completed. And now you can see down here that it has been updated. Of course, that you may need to take a look at which is the one that you have worked on. For example, here memory hierarchy, this is the reason why they asked us is because it is critical. Hence, they gave you the question based on memory hierarchy layers and their roles. So for as long as one of them is critical, it will continuously ask this one first until there will be a new one that is a much lower value. As you can see here, we also have a quick plan or a tonight for SC4021 final exam. You can give how much time you have tonight. Let's say tonight I only have 3 hours, meaning I only have 180 minutes. And then I only want to specifically learn lecture 2. Then you can press the build button and it'll take you to the overview and give you a balanced plan or a quick plan based on how much time you have. So for 3 hours, it will give you a balanced plan because 3 hours is enough time to properly recall the lecture 2 materials. And it will give you a split how much time you can take for each lecture and what you can do to actually study. And then we go back to study room. Let's say you only have 30 minutes. If you press build, it will only give you a 30-minute for what exactly is your weakest topic in that lecture. And then it'll tell you that it's a fast lecture studying. If you go back to the study room, and let's say you don't want to specify which lecture you want to study and you want to study all of them, and you have, for example, 200 minutes. If you press build, it'll give you all the lectures based on the weaknesses in this topic section. So lecture 3A, lecture 1, big data 5Vs, which is one of the weakest and critical ones here, and so on and so forth. That is for the quick plan element in this page. Now let's go into cram mode. In cram mode, this will allow students to do exactly what it does, cram. So if students don't know exactly how it works, it will give you an instruction up here. How cram mode works: use one short timer, do weak topics first, and check yourself after the sprint using the coach in the study room. So it's very well integrated so that students can just use this one app to study for many things. And students can also close this if they don't want it bloating the page. Here, students can set the timer. They can even type it out. Let's say they want 28 minutes. And then if they wanted to start, they can click on start. It will say timer running, and it instructs the student to stay with one task until it ends. And if maybe they want to pause to get a drink or go to the toilet, they can do so. And if they want to reset the timer to get a new time, they can do so as well. And then we also have this focus sound or study audio. Let's lower it down so it's not too loud for now. They can choose between white noise, rain noise, or brown noise. Let's say you prefer rain noise to cram to study during your cram mode. You can press start and it'll start playing rain noise. And you can decide to lower the volume or up the volume itself. And then you can press stop to stop the sound from playing. One of the bigger elements here is the Spotify tab, but you must have Spotify Premium to ensure that this Spotify button works. So let's connect my personal Spotify account to this. Once it has logged in, it will show you your last played and your playlists as well. Then you can also search for tracks that you want. For example, you want jazz. You can search here and it will search on Spotify itself. For example, you want to play Frank Sinatra. You can play it in the website itself. And you can adjust the volume as you want. Fly. I'll pause the audio there to avoid some copyright issues. Now see that there is a rescue plan which allows you to build a cram plan for SC4021 final exam or your focus. This will help the students focus on a certain thing or a certain topic that's the weakest in their lectures. Let's say you have 3 hours, which is a really short amount of time, let's say, and you can press build. So here they'll change it to 3-hour rescue plan for SC4021 final exam based on the weakest things you have. So here the big three is the big data characteristics, relational data model, and memory hierarchy cost analysis. But let's say you have the whole weekend, it will give you a proper laid out plan so that you can take your time to study based on the weak things that you have. Now let's go back to overview just to go on for small details. Here we have the confidence gap. The confidence gap is basically based on like a formula that I've applied so that they can see what is the current gap between the topic that is the weakest in between the highest confidence and the big data characteristics, let's say. So right now it's 13 points. This is how much you need to fix it such that you will get back on track. All right. Users can also choose to log out when their session is over. And it'll say see you username, and you can log back in anytime you want. This has been StudyBuddy. Thank you for listening.